Hi, everyone. I'm Hayley Hoffman Peri, founder and CEO of Dandy Day, and I am joined here by some really wonderful guests that have helped put together the Dandy Day Sustainability Report. And so I have Dr. Nicole Acedvedo and Brandon Frank. And so, Dr. Nicole, would you like to introduce yourself and share a little bit about your background in the beauty industry and your company? And then we'll go to Brandon.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Hayley and Brandon. It's great to be with you both today. So my name is Nicole Acedvedo, and I am founder of Elavo Mundi Solutions, which is a scientific consultancy that's committed to helping clients meet their strategic clean product development strategy goals through the establishment of really strong ingredient safety and product sustainability standards. And so a bit about my background, I'm actually a reproductive and environmental health scientist. And I dedicated many years to researching the human health risks of everyday exposure to harmful chemicals. And my specific research focus was really on the impacts of hormone disrupting chemicals. And about 6 years ago, I transitioned to work more intentionally within the cosmetic industry by helping companies expand and refine scientific standards that they use to develop safer, more sustainable products. And I've had the pleasure to partner with pioneering brands in clean beauty, as well as retailers, formulators, manufacturers, and raw material suppliers. So it's a wonderful space to be in. It's an exciting time to be doing this work and to be really working towards more sustainable strategies. So thanks for the conversation.
Yeah, well, thank you for being here and really coming from the perspective of the brands, the retailers, and the development of those chemical policies that you do with them. And then Brandon, would you like to share a little bit about you, your background, and what you do in the beauty industry and your company?
Would love to. So my name's Brandon Frank. I'm the president of Pacific Packaging Components based here in Los Angeles, California. We're a 50-year-old family packaging distributor. My grandparents actually started the business about 50 years ago. My dad still works down the hallway. He's been here for about 40 years. I started in the warehouse at a young age, so I really grew up in the industry, in the packaging supply industry. We supply packaging to beauty brands. That's our kind of primary kind of business function. We try to make it as easy and simple as possible. And I'd say about 10 years ago, and again, about 5 years ago, our company really looked at the sustainability of packaging and had that be a primary focus for what we were going to be really focusing in on. So finding sustainable packaging solutions for beauty brands with the primary goal of reducing the amount of waste that beauty brands were going to be producing. In that effort, I got connected with Credo Beauty, and they invited me to serve on their Clean Beauty Council as their sustainable packaging expert.
Okay.
That's a title they gave me. There's a lot of really smart people out there, and the word expert kind of scares me a little bit. But the reason I really love this topic is because as we're talking about sustainability and packaging, and where the history of our family comes from and the legacy of what we've been a part of, I'm really looking at the next 50 years of how can our business, how can our company, and how can I personally really help move the needle and push things in the right direction in terms of sustainability and helping brands make more sustainable decisions. So.
Oh, thank you for sharing. That's amazing. And one of my core values is legacy. And so I think that's something that really stood out to me about you, Brandon. I saw LinkedIn posts and your son was sitting at the computer and you were talking about legacy, and I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm in it too. So for the next generation and for all my kids. So I guess I should give a little bit about my background too, because I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people watching this who don't know who I am or my background. So I have been in the industry for about 20 years in various capacities. Started out working at the mall. Let's go to the mall at a beauty counter, and then eventually moved to LA. I did hair and makeup down in Hollywood for a little while. I got to touch Tina Fey's face, which was really fun. And then when I decided that wasn't really the path I was going to go, I found a job on Craigslist as a cosmetic lab assistant. And so that really married my education and interest in biology, along with my love for the cosmetics industry. And so from there, I was a cosmetic chemist full time for about 4.5 years. And then I sold raw materials, specialty ingredients, really controversial ingredients, replacements for controversial ingredients for about 10 years before I started Dandy Day. And so Dandy Day is a conscious beauty firm, and we really focus on connecting brands with ingredient manufacturers that have a positive impact on people and planet. So my focus is really sustainability education and the supply chain of where those ingredients come from. And so I really appreciate both of you being here, and I think we have a wonderful panel and perspective in the upcoming Dandy Day sustainability report to speak on these different areas. And we've all been working in our lanes for a long time. And so I'm curious as what do you see as our present state of sustainability in the US marketplace? So whoever would like to go first, I would love to hear.
Please, Nicole.
All right, I'll get us started.
Yeah.
I really believe that when we talk about sustainability, we really need to think about the entire life cycle of a product. It's the material to end of life. And so really thinking about all of the aspects that go into creating anything, from feedstock. So is the material renewable? How is it sourced? Is harvesting of certain feedstocks sustainable when you scale up production? So you might have something that might be a really beautiful renewable resource in theory, but doesn't match the scale up. The sustainability does not keep up pace with production, I should say. Does the material itself, does the sourcing of the material endanger the health of workers, or does it enhance their well-being? Are harmful chemicals used in the processing or manufacturing of these chemicals, or these resources? Does the raw material itself, are there contaminants or substances in the raw material that can have any adverse effects on the consumer? So many aspects that really need to be taken into consideration. And then, as I know Brandon will speak to a little bit more, is the processing, and this can happen in terms of all raw materials, but how much energy does it take to process and manufacture or ship products? Can you dispose of these products responsibly end of life? So in general, sustainability is a very complex term. It's a very complex concept. And so I know that that's one of the things we're really excited to dig into as we're going through this report, and offering to everyone out there is just embracing the complexity of all this. And I do believe that in its most holistic sense, this true sustainability really incorporates strategies that work to ensure and promote the health of the consumer, minimize negative impacts on the environment, and also prioritize social equity and the economic benefits of society at large. So once again, very, very holistic. So when we're looking a little bit more about, what is the state here in the US? Well, it's a moving target. There has been a lot of progress in some aspects, maybe in the raw material space itself for the formulation aspect. And then we encounter different levels of complexity on the packaging side. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag, and so we'll dig in a little bit more. I know we have more questions, so I'll leave it there.
Brandon, what about you? What do you think our present state of sustainability is in the US marketplace right now?
Yeah, I think in terms of packaging and sustainability, we are at a tipping point. Being a part of a company that's been around for a while, we have seen the topic of sustainability kind of rise and fall. Consumers get really interested in it. It becomes a thing. Then it kind of fades away. And every about 10, 12 years, our industry kind of goes through that cycle. So when this latest one happened, there were a lot of people in the plastics industry and in the packaging industry that thought it was just another one of those little blips of people were going to start caring about it and then it would go away. And that is not the case this time. The levee has broken. Sustainability is here to stay. And the surveys that have been done over the last 3, 4, 5 years have all indicated just a growing interest, a growing percentage of the population in the US are having sustainability as one of the primary drivers for their purchasing decisions. And again, I think we're there. So any brand that is not taking a really good look at the products they're using, at their entire value chain, at the packaging materials and formats that they're currently purchasing, and reevaluating everything to make it as sustainable as possible, I think the competition will, and then that brand will be very quickly left behind.
Well, thank you both for sharing. And I think from the supply chain side, Brandon, I think like you, I saw sustainability really, it's probably been like 8 or 9 years now, where there was some development of some new technologies. There was one from Eastman Chemical, it was a gym technology where they were catalyzing, using enzymes to catalyze a reaction, and they were able to save really not use any water in this particular processing. And so for me, that was like, wow, that you're saving waste, you are saving money, and the cost for the actual material, same material, just costs a lot less, and it has a lot less impact. And so about 8 years ago, I was like, this is the future. This is where we're going. And so 8 years later, I'm here, talking about sustainability, putting this report out, because that has been the movement. Sorry, that was my daughter in the background. I can cut this part out.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, it's not a real presentation until a cat jumps up on something. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
That actually happened this morning.
Yeah. I mean, just to kind of echo that about the technologies. I love taking a look at like the value chain of change in industry, because at the end of it, the value that the customers see really impact everything that happens in the supply chain. And so the technologies of chemical recycling, of bioplastic resins, these technologies have been around forever. They're not new technologies that are being developed today. They're just consumers are actually more interested in purchasing products that are using those technologies. And that's why they're seeing the dramatic increases that they are, especially with PCR and recycled content and, that type of thing with plastics. But
so that's interesting for the packaging side, that some of these technologies have been around. I think for what we're seeing and from the ingredients is that there is a lot of there are a lot of new developments, especially in biotechnology.
Yeah, there she is. She made an appearance.
So right.
It's not a true Zoom webinar unless we've got a little one.
Yeah, that's right. So this is the sustainability inspiration right here. my little one.
Delphina.
Yes. So you can give me just one moment, please.
No, do your thing.
Okay. Yes. So we were talking about the technological advances. What we see a lot of on the ingredient side is definitely with biotech, new ways, new extraction methods. And so that's where we're seeing a lot of innovation that really contribute to sustainability and using less water, and having smaller footprints for manufacturing. So, and so that's where I'm seeing the innovation. And then as far as like the present state of sustainability in the U.S. marketplace, on our side, I think really the understanding, starting to unpack the different aspects of sustainability. I think we're just now able to start doing that, where it's before sustainability came along, everyone just said, oh, it's green. Oh, it's green. This is green. That's green. And then green and sustainable kind of became a synonymous term, but they're actually very different. green was really more about manufacturing practices and impact, and sustainability has to do a lot more than just manufacturing. So, and so kind of the next question is, as we were all compiling this report, is there anything that you learned while going through the different questions and making a contribution to this report? Did anything come up,
Yeah,
bubble up?
I think, you know, for we hear a lot about kind of what the standards are overseas, especially in Europe, when it comes to packaging and the recycling. And kind of through this report, did a fair amount of research how different countries over there are doing things, and it was eye-opening to really take a little bit of a deeper dive into kind of the infrastructure, the legislation, the role the government plays, the role businesses play, and just overall how citizens are more informed and they make different decisions based on being better informed. So that was kind of one of the big takeaways that I had, and it kind of made me feel like there's just so much room in the U.S. for progress, not necessarily to turn the U.S. into what Europe has, but to take some of those nuggets and kind of look for opportunities to be able to make progress here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that a little bit. I am very well entrenched in what the EU is, what their strategies are around chemical safety, and also their sustainability strategies that they're bringing forth from a regulatory perspective. And it is really interesting to understand that one of the things that makes the European model really strong is that they have a really close connection and interplay between the governmental agencies and advocacy groups and consumers. There isn't as much of a push and pull, or a bit of a dominance issue, as I think we see a bit here in the United States, where the different groups are almost at odds, or seemingly at odds with one another on these issues. So it is interesting to see how that does actually create a bit more of a, no pun intended, sustainable model for how to move forward and create, as they themselves term it, sustainable, safe and sustainable by design, which I love. I love that term. I love that concept. It's very holistic. And so anyway, that's one of the things that I really hope that we kind of adopt more into our conversations, and the way we're approaching things are really the safe and sustainable by design, right? So let's be really proactive about how we're moving forward, and we're incorporating better modalities and strategies, because it can be done. And it's the way that we ensure that we have not just sustainability at large in play, but that we actually have, we're able to really maximize our resources, decrease our impacts for generations to come. And another thing just to add about what I learned is just the big elephant in the room. This journey towards real sustainability is really complicated. And there are many measures that we, as just members of the value chain, as brands, as raw material suppliers, manufacturers, consumers, everybody that's at play within our industry, in particular the cosmetic industry, we can take real proactive measures to significantly increase the sustainable nature of consumer goods. It's in our hands, and that's really, really powerful. So, and it's also important to know that younger generations are pushing the envelope, as Brandon said. There is a strong preferential switch to clean, sustainable beauty amongst younger generations at this time, and that's really one of the strongest drivers for brand loyalty. So we need to be paying attention, and we have the ability to, once again, do really good things in a proactive manner that we can all feel really good about.
Oh, thank you both for sharing. I think I've been working on this report. It's been over 6 months now, and really going through it, the things that have really come up for me, or what I've really learned. It's really the complexity of it, but also how to communicate those complexities, and what are frameworks, what are solutions that are out there and available right now that we can capture and start implementing and using in our everyday work and creating products. So I think something similar to you, Brandon, as you look, okay, what are other people doing? What are other industries, countries doing? And then like for you, Nicole, like, okay, and this is what the generation is asking for. And so I've in this 6-month process have been trying to figure out, okay, how do I marry all of that in this report, as well as provide those actionable solutions from my perspective, and that is through ingredients. And so that's something I'm excited about sharing in the report. And so I'm curious from each of you, what's the most exciting, or what are you most excited about sharing in the Dandy Day report?
So I'm just really excited for everyone to see how strong the business case is for moving toward more sustainable strategies and incorporating them into your business proactively. There's a lot of innovation in, as you already spoke to, Hayley, within the raw material space for product formulations. There's just, a lot of newer technologies, or that are either technologies for generating new types of materials, or ones that help reduce waste, or just lower the impact of our resource, the use of our resources at large. But there's just so much that is available if we really do commit as a community within this industry to help move it along by collaboration, and just keep the focus on what's going to help one company thrive will most likely help the community of companies thrive. So there is a lot of room for growth and for success, but also for collaboration. And to me, that's really exciting.
Thank you. What do you think, Brandon? What are you excited about in sharing this report?
So, I mean, for the past 12 to 18 months, I have talked and strategized and created plans to help beauty brands become more sustainable. And it's been about 300, a little over 300 companies during that time. And then supporting Credo and other retailers that are trying to create sustainable packaging guidelines. There's been a concerted long-term effort to be able to take a very complex issue and to create a roadmap, a pathway for each individual brand to be able to make more sustainable decisions with their packaging. And that's what I'm most excited to share, is to be able to bring that into this report so that any brand owner or someone in the industry can be able to have a clear understanding of, okay, these are the types of decisions that I need to be making along that kind of supply chain. And hopefully, and I know we've kind of hinted at this, but if we can get all beauty brands to make just little decisions in the right direction, then in the aggregate, it could result in a lot of really good change.
Yeah, that is very exciting. For me, I think the thing that I'm most excited about sharing, and really was the seed thought of actually doing this report, is sharing the framework of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And as we've all hinted at, the complexities, the strategies when looking at sustainability, the UN SDGs, as they're also known, is 16 different pillars, 17 pillars, if you include the collaboration. So breaking down each one of those 17 goals, and showing, what ingredients, what packaging kind of supports those different goals, so brands can be empowered to choose what they want to do in their company, and designing their products, and even in their company culture to be sustainable. So that's what I'm super excited about, and I really could not have done it without the wisdom and experience and expertise, as y'all are experts, And so thank you all so much for the contributions and your time in this. So is there anything else that you'd like to share before we sign off?
No, I'm really excited, and thank you, Hayley, for bringing us together, for bringing all this together, and for all the dedication and research that you've put into it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you both. This has been just a joy and an honor to work with both of you. And, it's the passion in what we do is so palpable. I know each of us come to the table with different levels of expertise or experience, but I think the passion around really ensuring that we're working towards, that better future that we know we want to leave for future generations to come, and that it doesn't have to be in conflict with the business of being in the space that we're in the cosmetic industry. I think is really, really, I think it's powerful. So it's a good time, as I said, to be doing this work. It's exciting, and let's keep doing it.
Okay, great. Well, thank you everybody for taking the time to watch. Hope you purchase the report. Reach out to any of us. All of the information will be in the comments below. So make it a great day, and we look forward to connecting with you on the future.